Long-term vision is that I am working to empower and to train up leaders to do exactly what we're doing from city to city, state to state, uh, country to country. And that I always say an indicator or a predictor of my success and the success of this firm is when we are no longer needed. So when that movement building is driving the needed change, and that communities have developed the capacity where every single person in an organization, in a community, in a collective, in the culture, sees themselves as a leader of their own voice, of their own change, of their own narrative. That's the larger vision. And the reality is that whenever you are addressing injustice, you're gonna deal with resistance. And so in doing this work, of working with leaders like CEOs and mayors, congressional members, leaders of all types of communities, and recognizing that the firm, this team, this collective serves as the bridge between those leaders and communities.
It's hard work, it's deep work, it's moving towards something that we're still imagining.
All that I'm asked of is to just show up in my full self, really hone in on my gifts, see my gifts as gifts, because I often can just do and not give myself the flowers that I can easily give other people. So it feels easier, not because the work is easier, but because the environment allows me to enter into stuff with ease and feel more centered while doing it.
Being able to bring my full range of ideas and identity and culture to this work, for me, is really freeing, because oftentimes I feel like we have to fold ourselves and fit ourselves into so many different boxes. It takes so much energy from us, and we rarely get to actually get to the work that we're trying to get to and the people we're trying to serve before we're burnt out. So being able to work with people who see me and I see them, and they welcome the full range of my brilliance, and knowing that that brilliance has a place in the work, for me, it's the type of labor of love that I want to be involved in. It's the only labor of love that I want to be involved in.
And that we're able to usher in all of the things that God represents: hope, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness, and it comes into the work, and not just the work with how we interact with our clients, but how we interact with each other. So it really is a reflection of God's character, and probably the first time I've ever worked in an environment and with people with whom I can bring the fullness of God's joy and the fullness of myself with to the work that I do.
The first thing that comes to mind is really acknowledging my lived experience as an asset, but also showing up in ways to where I'm not seeking to conform to white supremacist culture. And that's challenging myself and others to really, again, think about experiential knowledge as an asset to this work, and the need for these diverse ways of being and showing up in this space. And so it's constantly resisting falling into these white supremacist ways of being, centering joy in that work.
It's a wonderful opportunity for me just to walk into any space. One, to be unapologetic. So what that means to be that I also need to be affirmed in my own identity and knowing myself, so then I can't be rocked by the forces, the systems, the perceptions that say otherwise about who I am.
I am my full self in a different way in a professional setting. Both of those things are happening in the same space. It's a lovely feeling. It's a refreshing feeling. And it feels, like family in a way that I didn't think was possible in a professional setting. Yeah.
Just being able to see, like you said, from a dream and a vision to what the collective has built, because she hasn't done it on her own. She has a great team around her, you included. but just to experience it and see the love that and the passion that people have for her, that they're willing to get involved without even knowing completely the direction or the path, but just off her saying, hey, I have this idea, this is what I want to do. So to see that pouring out of love is amazing. And for me to be a part of it, I'm blessed and inspired.